Well, thank you for joining me. You know, years ago we would come to Petra, and the last time we were here, we had to haul in TV cameras, and it was really something. Now we have a little phone that we're taping with. It's just absolutely incredible. Technology has changed. We are relieved. You have no idea how relieved we are. So we're in Petra. Let's get a picture before I get started, kind of a surround picture here. Here's the mountains. This is the seek that they come through. It's called a seek. And it actually, that word means a little place between two mountains. That's basically the meaning of it. And how many of you walked in? Was it okay to walk? Did you feel good? Did you notice it's a little uphill going back? Some of you have already figured, but it's a good walk. It's fun, it's an experience. The treasury house there that was in the Indiana Jones movie that was made famous in the mid-1980s. And this goes for 18 miles. We basically come here, we go around the corner, our guides give us information, so it's very, very good. And I told him, I said, you know, lunch is at 12:30. You know how long it takes you to get out. So if you're lost, you know there's only one way in, one way out. That's it right there. Okay, the prophecy of Petra. I'm going to go back and show you two things. I'm going to show you the time of Jesus. Then I'm going to show you the time of the tribulation, which has not yet happened. In the time of Jesus, he predicted that Jerusalem would be destroyed. And then he told his disciples in Matthew chapter 24, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, flee to the mountains. And many of the Christians fled to Petra in Jordan, where they received asylum. That's another story. Then in Matthew 24, he said to them, pray that your flight is not on the Sabbath or not in the winter. In the winter, because it can snow. Now let me tell you something about Petra you may have never seen. In 1992, they had a snowstorm. It almost never snows here. It snows in the higher elevation. They had a snowstorm that was so bad, the tourists got stuck a week. And I asked my guide, I said, did they almost run out of food? He said they had to go and get from the store, get cans of food, but they almost ran out of food. People missed their flights. Obviously, a week stuck. Now look, a week stuck at home is one thing, but a week stuck in the mountains of Jordan, that would be a historical thing you would tell your children about forever. I'm saying that to you because if they fled in the winter, it could turn very cold. And you would be living in caves. There are thousands of these caves through here if you go the 18 miles. Then he says, don't let your flight be on the Sabbath. Now, there is a clue here in that text on Orthodox Jews. Orthodox Jews only go 2,000 cubits or whatever it is, I think or paces on the Sabbath day. If they're fleeing on the Sabbath, they would not, by their own laws, be able to go that far on the Sabbath day. So that's why Jesus said, pray that it's not on the Sabbath, because some of them would be so strict that they would say, we can't leave till the Sabbath is over. Does that make sense to everybody? That's why Jesus said, pray it's not on the Sabbath, pray it's not in the winter. Now, if we go ahead in time and we go ahead to the prophecies, we find that in Revelation chapter 12, there is another moment where the Jewish people will have to flee from the city of Jerusalem and they go to the wilderness where they are protected. And that's in chapter 12. In Revelation 12, there's a remnant. Are we okay with the light, Charlie? I just want to make sure. I'm going to step in the light here because the sun's up already. And in Revelation 12, they flee to the wilderness. And it says this, they're given the wings of an eagle. Now, if you know where we're located and you start in Jerusalem and you try to walk here, it's a long way. How many of you know how long it took us to drive here? How many hours? Three from Mount Nebo, driving. So I'm curious about this part. I heard some planes last night. I never asked. I'm sure there's a local airport, a small airport somewhere. Being given the wings of an eagle could imply flights coming out and them getting out and somehow coming into this area and being preserved. Now, let me talk about Jordan. Petra is in the country of Jordan. Jordan is a very friendly nation. It is a nation that was built around the Bedouin people, which were tribes. There were different tribes that had different territories of land. It has a number of very nice cities. Another thing about Jordan is it's a very peaceful country. You have had wars in Persia. You have had wars in Iraq, just nonstop. You have had a ton of wars in Syria. You have wars in Lebanon. Israel has been involved with 5 to 6 major wars in its history since '48. Jordan was pulled into some of these wars, especially the war of 1967, by Nasser, who was the head of Egypt, who threatened to kill King Hussein if he didn't join the war. So my point is that Jordan has always been more of a peaceful nation. King Hussein, not the present king, that's his son, but King Hussein, the original king of Jordan that I remember when I first came here, was making peace negotiations and food negotiations with agriculture with Israel way before there was a major treaty that was made public, okay? So we want you to know that Jordan is friendly toward Israel. Now here's a big point you might not know. Why would the Jews flee here if the Antichrist has 10 nations working with him? And the answer is Jordan is not in cooperation with him. Jordan is connected to Israel. Daniel chapter 11, I believe it is, and I might be wrong, we'll put the reference up, says this, that when the time of the end comes and the Antichrist gets his 10 kings, check this verse out, ready? Edom, Moab, and the chief leaders of Ammon will escape out of his hand. That's the verse that tells you that Jordan does not fall to the Antichrist. And it might be because Jordan is so connected with Israel anyway, there's no need to take Jordan over. Then when you see the land, look how much of it's desert. Okay, it's not major cities. Ammon is a major cities and you've got smaller cities, beautiful smaller cities. But it's nothing much to take over here unless you're involved with food, and they do grow a lot of food here. All right, but they don't have a lot of water. Israel's got the water and the food. Jordan gets the food, and if you've noticed all those trucks coming from Israel, that's food coming into this area. All those trucks you passed, remember that long line you kept saying, when are we going to go? Remember the other day, how many of you were in the bus said, please, let's go, please. You know, I'm sitting there saying, my bladder says go, let's go, right? How many know what I'm talking about? Okay, so anyway, it's a tour, folks, it's a tour. Here's what I want to show you that I think is very intriguing, and it has to do with the Jewish people coming here, and there are references over Edom I will cast my shoe, and Moab is my wash pot, and that's this area, and we won't get into all, like I said, this would be a 2-hour teaching if I did it in detail. I'm giving you the gist of it. So in the tribulation, the Antichrist invades Jerusalem in chapter 11, kills the 2 witnesses, then a number of Jews get out. Do you know why they get out? I'm going to tell you why they get out. Because there's a mark on the hand and the forehead, and any man that's Orthodox, whether ultra-Orthodox or Orthodox, would never put a mark on their hand or forehead. Number 2, they built an image and made it speak and live. And the Greek word image is an icon, and it's an idol. And so the idol that they build that supernaturally lives, the Jews will say this is idolatry, and that's why they flee. That's why you have 144,000 sealed with the seal of God, and that's why you have another remnant fleeing to the wilderness, because they know this is demonic. An idol speaking, oh come on, get out of here, bam, they leave. So they leave because of that. That's why they're fleeing, okay, again. So they come over into the Moab area, and a lot of them, it's believed, will live in the caves that are here in Petra, and that's a whole nother level of story. Here's the verse I want to get to, Revelation chapter 12, 13 through 16. One of the things that says, the dragon, this is an update now, opens up his mouth to spew water in the woman to drown. In other words, why do you send water? Talk to me. Why would you send water? To drown the place out. Here's the freaky part about Petra. You ready for this? About once a year it'll happen. Now they have rain, don't get me wrong, but once a year it could happen. Do you realize that while we have been here, Saudi Arabia had the biggest rainstorm in history? The cars were floating. It's real funny because they said the king got up and told the people to repent of their sins and call on God because they needed rain, and they got a flood. You know, be careful what you pray for. So that was like, they were over here in Jordan. They said, man, this was freaking everybody out over here, especially the Muslims. It's like, wow, what is going on? Never had that much rain of that level. It was not in Mecca, but it was another location. It was crazy. Now, what can happen in Petra? And we don't worry about it today because the sun is shining. Doesn't that sun feel good? Yeah. Finally. Okay, we were on Mount Nebo yesterday and the glory cloud was everywhere. We couldn't see anything, but now we can see. Now watch this carefully. Many years ago, okay, here's the seek. When it rains, I want you to see what the rain would do. It runs down these crevices. Can you see the crevices? It's just crevices everywhere. And then it starts building up. When it rains up in that direction, it comes, we're down, that's up. Where does the water go from? It goes down, correct? So guess where it ends up coming to? Right here. Comes right through that seek, and it can be several feet deep in a flash flood. Now, not to freak you out because we're safe, but many years ago, and I don't remember the year, but it was a long time ago, there was a group of French tourists here, and the Bedouins started looking up at the sky and they could hear the thunder, and they told them If I'm not mistaken, they said climb those steps over there. And they wouldn't do it. You know, they were a little bit belligerent. You know, you don't tell us what to do, because there's steps. You see steps, all you see here, these are steps. They said, no, go, go, go. So the Bedouins took off running. The flash flood hit so fast, it washed 18 tourists, and their bodies were found in the Dead Sea. Oh. That's how a flash flood can hit this city. Now go back to Revelation, because it says that this is the area where a remnant of Jews, it's going to be thousands, not a handful, will be protected by the Lord. And one of the things that Satan will do, it says, out of the dragon's mouth came forth water like a flood, and the earth opened up and swallowed the water. How does the earth open up? Answer, an earthquake. And right around the Dead Sea are two big earthquake fault lines that are in parallel, one on the Jordanian side, one on the Israeli side. So there's going to be great earthquakes during the tribulation. So something will happen, and all that water rushing in will actually go down, because this goes down. This does not go up. This goes down, will come off of the mountains, go into that area, and God will protect them. So how many of you did not know that could literally happen? Is that the first time some of you heard that? Isn't that amazing though? So in other words, the prophecies are this. Now the government here, and this is a real controversy, because our young men that we were talking to were telling us that the government is trying to move all the Bedouins. There's 45, I think it's families, he said, Charlie, if we total them, I believe he tells us 45 that live in the caves here. So they're wanting to get them out of the caves, but they don't necessarily want to give them anything for moving. And they have lived here for centuries. Some of these people have lived here a long time. So there's something going on in that area where, like, the government wants to take over all of this, the Jordanian government. And I'm not into the politics of that. That's their business, but it's very interesting. Now, another thing, I heard this years ago, and I do know Oral Roberts' daughter. She's up there in years from Oklahoma. And I thought about asking her about this, because she would be probably the only person that would know her, maybe his son Richard. Many years ago, when Oral Roberts had his big tents, he came to the Holy Land. I was told by someone who knew him back then that he got Bibles. Now, I don't even know how you would preserve them that long, and have them hid in Petra. And this would be probably the 50s, maybe even the early 60s, because he felt like the people would come one day and they would have Bibles. Now, those could have been found a long time ago, but I'm real curious, maybe to say, did you ever hear your dad tell the story? And maybe it's something he did private. The point is that they will be protected here, and I'm only going to give you one nugget, because I'm working on a major prophecy DVD that I've never done before, that shows you the three phases. We just think Jesus comes back at the Battle of Armageddon. He does not. There's three phases to the battle, and it says in the Bible that the second phase is Bozrah, and that's this vicinity, and he saves the people at Bozrah, which means Jesus comes alone. I'm not going to give you all the verses, it's too complicated, and he saves the men in Petra. And that's what happens at the end of the tribulation. So let me just say that you're in a very prophetic area. First of all, in a very historic area, a very beautiful area, but you're in an area where major Bible prophecy is going to happen. And you get to see it before the Antichrist gets a hold of things. Isn't that great? So we're here. That's an update from Petra. The sun's come out. It's a beautiful day. Or we're going to turn everybody over to the guides. We've got a certain time frame to get back. And look, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this. The Arabs know how to cook. You guys who are Arabs, I got Palestinian friends, Arab friends, but listen to me. It is a fact. You guys are the best chefs in the world. I've traveled the world. And the coffee, okay, now some of you might be too strong for you, not me. The moment I drink a cup, I am awake for 12 hours. Honest to God, my brother, honest to God, it's true. Your Turkish coffee and your coffee's great. But we really do appreciate, let me say this about Christians. I'm talking about real Christians who know the Bible. They love the Jews, they love the Arabs, they love the sons of Ishmael, they love the sons of Isaac. A lot of times in America, you see a lot of support for Israel. I have a lot of Arab friends, Arab Christians in Jordan, Arab Christians in across the Jordan River in Israel. And I want to say that I love you brothers a lot. Even a lot of the Muslim friends I met over the years, I love you guys a lot. Whew. And the reason we do these tapes is because a lot of you may not know what the scripture says, the Bible. And I want to teach you the Bible. And a lot of you that are Muslim in different parts of the world, you learn from us, you tell me that we learn things we did not know from history and from the Bible. And the Bible is true and it will happen. And that's why I preach prophecy, is to help you to understand what will happen in the future. If Christ came the first time as the Messiah and fulfilled all those scriptures that we can find that he did, then all the scriptures that tell he's coming back the second time is also going to happen. Yes. So that's what I want you to know. So say thank you for joining me, and if you like the videos from the Holy Land, give us a thumbs up, because please don't write us. When you hear me say this, please do not write us, because we don't have this settled. We're talking about we're coming back to Israel next year. We're talking about VIP tours. We're talking about, I'm going to tell them, Robert, what we're talking about. We're talking about a Mediterranean, flying into Rome, doing a tour of Rome, and doing a cruise to the Church of Ephesus, to Greece, to Athens, Greece, to where Paul preached. They've wanted me to do this for years, and now I'm not traveling as much. That's by my choice, by the way. And I'm doing more social media, and I'm doing more writing, because as you get older, you want to do that. You got to leave this knowledge, here. And so what we're doing is we're taking more trips. And my wife is cruise crazy. She's cruise crazy. And she would go on 5 a year if I let her. And so she's a great woman, but we're going to do that. So if you ever see a Holy Land tour, get on first, because you can't get rooms there. I'm telling the truth. The rooms are rare because everybody's coming. China's coming. The Russians coming, before the war especially, the Ukrainians were coming, the people, they're coming from all over the world. And you can look at this. This is Petra, my goodness. I've never seen this many people in Petra before, okay? And so always get in early, and then if you ever want to go on the cruise, it'll be, the Lord willing, if Jesus tarries, it'll be 2025, and we're going to try to get, I'm not going to say this on YouTube, I'll say it off of YouTube, but we're trying to get 2 other ministers maybe to join in, and we can take the whole ship over, which would be a hoot, and then we can all preach and sing and do what we want to do. Hey, like that. Okay, so stay in touch, perrystone.org, Perrystone Ministries. You got to put ministries in there, because some people fake as me, they're not me. Facebook page. And for those of you on Facebook, we do not send out friends requests. Those are fakers. And be careful with the fakers. Report a faker to our ministry, and we'll get them taken down. Thank you. God bless you. Thumbs up. Keep watching. We always have something special. Let's give the Lord a hand. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your attention for a moment. Did you know the day is coming when we're going to have a cashless system of buying and selling? What has to happen before that takes place? Did you know this? There are 5 things that must happen first before this can be totally implemented, not only in the United States, but on a global level. I compiled some information. I talked to some multimillionaires. I talked to some bank people. And I want to present to you a 2-hour audio CD called The Doom of Cash and the Future Beast Monetary System. I'm going to show you how this cashless form of buying and selling is going to tie into the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 13. This is very detailed. It's updated. I know there's a lot of this you've not heard. And along with this 2-hour audio CD album, I have another 2-hour audio CD album called Angelic Warfare and Satanic Assignments During Prophetic Seasons. Now here's the fact. Angels are released to minister to the church, to individuals, and rule over nations. Like Michael the Archangel is the guardian angel of the nation of Israel. What you may not be aware of is more angels will be released during prophetic seasons, and more revelation from God is released during prophetic seasons. And that's where the demonic prince spirits, Ephesians 6 and 12, and also in Daniel 10, step in to interfere with the prophetic revelation and to interfere with the process of a prophecy from coming to pass. I was actually going to write a book on this subject, but it was going to be so long, it would have probably been a 500-page book, that I wanted to get it in a 2-hour teaching. And I'm telling you, if there's ever been a teaching absolutely power-packed and loaded, a lot of Hebraic studies, a lot of study about angels. Let me ask you something. What can we do in prophetic seasons when there is this such heavy demonic battle between angels and demons? This is the reason why the nation nations are shaking. This is the reason why there's mob rioting in the cities. All of this is connected to prophetic seasons that we're in. So I want to teach you about angelic warfare and satanic assignments. Now you can get both of these for your donation of $30 or more, and you request offer FED-144. That's FED-144. And again, $30 or more. But if you order now, I'm going to include a bonus audio CD, End Time Secrets Hidden in the Parables of Jesus. You will love this. So that's 5 hours of total teaching that we want to present to you as the Manifest offer. Help us keep Manifest on the air. Order by calling 1-888-21-BREAD, the toll-free number, or order online at perrystone.org. That's a very fast way of ordering. Or if you want to write a check, make it out to Perry Stone Ministries and send it to P.O. Box 3595, Cleveland, Tennessee 37320. Now once again, it's $30 for the entire set, and this is a limited time offer, so order today.
If you enjoyed this YouTube content, there's an important website you should know about: perrystone.org. Perrystone.org is an essential resource for the latest books, audiovisual presentations, and digital products from Perry Stone Ministries, resources that cover the same kinds of topics discussed in the program you just watched. Stop in and see all that's available at perrystone.org.